it's Peter Merrick, and it is a hot day for San Diego. Most homes near the coast don't even have air conditioning, so it is hot. I'm not used to this here. However, I grew up in a place in the summer when it was this hot, it was humid. Today, I want to share with you about the laws of reciprocity because I think on this platform, LinkedIn, that is so important. First, you have to give, and build in the emotional bank. So when you do ask, someone who gives to you at that point gives it willingly. However, what is really angry, and I address this in my book, The King of Main Street, is chirping birds. People who have taken some type of course how to get business off of LinkedIn. And that's very useful, and at the same time, it can be very detrimental. Because if you immediately become friends with someone, and then you immediately start asking for things, they're not going to want to give it to you. And if you keep on asking, they might defriend you. See, it's really important that you look at what someone needs. And if you don't have it, you better go and find it before you approach them to give it to them, something they place value on. Chirping birds. That's a term I want you to understand. Don't be a chirping bird. I want to share with you a speech that I had heard when I was at a Toastmasters right after the dot-com bubble. And it was this woman, she had a company that wrote scripts and also wrote information that corporations would use to tell their intended clients what they could do for them. And this woman was talking about before the dot-com bust that happened, I believe, January 15th, 2000, her site was receiving over 150,000 views every month. Now, according to the Matrix back at that time, her site could have been worth over $1.5 million because everybody was saying the Matrix had changed for how business was done, that storefronts and the real world economy was over. So she shared with us how she had dug into the numbers and she found out of the 150,000 people who had viewed her site, only 3 had become clients. That sounds pretty good, right? Lots of traction. However, what she also shared, which was very revealing, is those 3 people who become clients had gone to her site for confirmation, not to be sold. They already knew about her company. They had already investigated her company. They might have even spoken to them. And now they were going to the site for confirmation. And that for me was a huge breakthrough, that our digital profile out in the web is to give people confirmation, familiarity. And if we go and keep on asking people at the beginning of a relationship, think about it practically in your own life. Do you want to give to them? And what you're selling, do they really need? That's a big question. I wrote an article back in the early 2000s on a plastic surgeon. And he had no presence on the web. And then he finally had a website. And what he wrote on his website was so telling. Now, this was one of the top plastic surgeons in North America. And he said that the purpose of his site was to educate, not to get clients. And that's literally what a web presence is. Now, in any war, to win the war, first they do their carpet bombing and they control the air. They cannot win the war unless they send in troops. And in business, what that means is you need to have deep contacts. So if you ask someone you don't know immediately to conduct business with you, if you start asking them personal questions, especially on a platform that shouldn't be personal because you haven't earned that, it's similar to a child calling me by my first name. I haven't given them permission yet. You need to ask permission before you ask for them to give you business, to buy off of you. This is just what I've learned in my 30 years in business. You give, 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 and then after you've built a emotional bank account, then you can start withdrawing. I wanted to share that thought, and don't be a cheeping bird. I meant a chirping bird, asking to be fed, 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 but not helping the other person eat as well. When the tide comes in, all boats rise. And that's how you have to think. How can I be an infinite player and help the other person? And through helping them, if they're the right person, they're going to want to help you. Have an awesome Saturday, and I'm going to get out of this heat.